The destiny of Link was meant to bring about the end of Ganon in all his forms, no matter the world or timeline. That would be no different in the world of Smash King. Before, his blade was guided by his own volition, but now the will of others guided his blade because of whose stories told them he was. The hero of the skies, the hero of Hyrule, the hero of legend, and the hero of Twilight. He answered the call to action, but this time he was forced to answer a call he never wanted to take up for. Those titles held weight in their realm of origin, but in this life, in this world, they were just titles. Before the king, there were the files and the predestined course of Link's life in the Smash King world. With only legends to his name, the world of Melee pitted him into the role of Ganondorf's executioner, being a pivotal part to the Ganondorf search team. Along with Fox, Falco, Mario, and a few others, they were trying to put a stop to Ganondorf's ploy in taking over the world of Melee and Brawl. This endeavor would soon prove fruitless as they lost him at every turn and would soon lose their leader, Fox, deteriorating not only the search team's confidence but also Link's resolve. While the relationship of Link and Fox may have been unknown, their relationship feels akin to that of a mentorship, because if Link was going to take down Ganon, he would need to be stronger than anyone in the world. Unfortunately for Link, on top of living up to a destiny thrusted upon him, he was the first to find Fox's body and saw firsthand Ganon's capabilities. Shortly after this, he experienced continuous ridicule from Roy thanks to his weakness in both mind and combat. The pressure would continue eating away at him until the final days of Melee and the moment of truth came where he would have to kill Ganon. In coming face to face with Evil's incarnate, Link could do nothing. He stood no chance of defeating him, and killing the King of Evil was impossible. He was soundly defeated by what was his mortal enemy, but before he was put down, Ganondorf left him with a question.
Do you have to try and defeat me? Or do you want to?
Link felt immediately relieved and felt his life was his own. Ganondorf had set him free. Melee's traditional world structure caused Link's limitations, and those who enforced it were the epitome of his oppression. The path of the individual could only be decided by the individual, and Link was no exception. He was too passive in his resolve to ever exist outside of the box he was placed in. The constant ridicule of his strength limited his thoughts, emotions, and physical capabilities. He would only grow more lost after Fox's death and couldn't see anything but a goal he wasn't dedicated to seeing through. It was ironic that the one person he was being built up to kill was the same man to set him free. It was a situation that fed the darkness of Link's character, more so the impulse for freedom. The freedom of choice can be intoxicating to those deprived of it. The ability to determine your fate is something that everyone possesses, but for Link it was a privilege given by someone who believed in the idea of freedom more than anyone. Ganondorf was the epitome of freedom in Link's eyes, and gave way to the person Link would become in the world of Brawl. Link was now an impulsive, murderous free spirit that listened to no one except Ganon per his leadership status. He was allying himself with the old man to gain the perspective of a villain, having a relationship based exclusively on a give-and-take situation. He would aid in Ganon's plans, and Ganon would allow him to roam free and do anything he wanted so long as it didn't cross him. Link was effectively free and had no obligation to anyone or anything. While Link's constant talk of killing and incessant bloodlust feels somewhat of an extreme for who he was, it was this outward display of zero self-control that plays to the deconstruction of his past incarnations and the tales associated with their name. The Links of old demonstrated this almost natural ability to shoulder responsibility, maintain a strong mental fortitude, and an unparalleled aptitude for swordplay. Their stories called for their potential to be reached no matter the endgame challenges. These ingrained character traits were the defining pieces of Link's identity, as they were reached by every previous incarnation, and the same expectation was given to this variant of the hero. Yet he couldn't live up to that expectation, for it was not what the story called for, and moreover, what he was committed to fulfilling. He was demonstrably weak, possessing no resolve to slay Ganon, and served more so as a prime example to Smash King's message of the individual over tradition. Though his abandonment of tradition placed him in a precarious situation as to whether his chosen path as an individual was worth it, having to confront the idea during his confrontation with Ike. Link spared a moment to share his own introspection with Ike, admitting that none of his accomplishments from his past lives were anything to be proud of, as they never served him any good in his life. The reason for his passive nature was to keep everyone's faith and hope alive that he could defeat Ganon and save the world as he was supposed to. He was only brought to his own enlightenment once he discovered Bowser defeated Ganon, revealing to himself that anyone could have defeated the old man, setting himself free from Destiny's hold over him. The interesting part of it all was how Link takes the time to control his violent temperament to explain how he feels. He was willing to tell Ike everything because Ike was the only person that saw him being a hero as a genuine positive. Before, no one saw Link for who he was or what he wanted, but now someone was willing to listen. Ike had admired him because of the stories. He never wanted him to act differently or place him into a role. It was for the reasons why he became the person he was that Ike was interested in learning. This opened the door for Link's redemption, but also a more reasonable and realistic representation of Link in the aftermath of Melee's events. The self-reflection that Link undergoes is followed up after his defeat by Falcon, where he comes to terms with the fact that he's gone too far and could never go back to who he was before. He had descended into darkness, heavily represented by his ascent mode that increased his violent emotions and thirst for battle. His character was loud and deplorable, desecrating the legacy upheld by silent and honorable Links of times past, and nothing would change that. He was the victim of a traditionalistic society that forced him to be selfless and gave up his own life for it. In the end, he was a tortured hero with nothing but selfish indulgence left in his heart. Thank you so much for watching.